Hello and welcome. My name is Promise Odera Onu, and today I want to join on this online conversation that's been going on about local money and abroad money. Local money in the sense of Nigeria, those who made money in Nigeria, and those of us abroad. I'm in diaspora, so I can include myself. And first thing I want to say is that I want to define what the pyramid of wealth is, or power actually. So when they say somebody's at the top of the pyramid, what does it essentially mean? The top of the pyramid are governments, and then financial institutions like banks, and then you see, the businessmen, those you can easily see on the Forbes list. So if you look at the world, the whole 8 billion people in the world are controlled by those on the Forbes list. So if your name is not on the Forbes list, you are not on the top of the pyramid. You're probably somewhere in between the pyramid. Now, when we contextualize this to Nigeria, then we need to apply, some sense into this, because I hear a lot of people talk and you can easily see they don't understand what wealth is all about. Especially that the phrase. And that the phrase we say that, he speak highly of his cars, his Mercedes and all of that, his love for convertibles and all of that. But then those cars actually are somebody's venture, somebody's business. Who owns those cars? So Mercedes is a German car, but of course it's somebody that have stakes that owns that business. You only have one product, right? Even if you say Aston Martin, that's somebody's name. You're driving, one product of his production. So when you want to think wealth, you don't think wealth when you are buying a commodity. You think wealth when you are at the top of the chain. Does that make sense? Now, I posted a picture of what Tommy Elumelu said. He said he was invited by the King of England, the King of Great Britain, the King of the Commonwealth, the King of a country that colonized almost the whole world. And also, in that invitation, he also met with Biden. At that small table, that's the highest power. You're talking about the top of the pyramid. Whether they are discussing climate change or whatever, the point still remains that they are watching Tony Elumelu and he's getting invitation to sit with them. Now, we need to understand that in a country, let's use Nigeria now for example. In a country like Nigeria, anything the president says, because he's at the top of the pyramid in Nigeria as far as Nigeria is concerned, affects everybody. And that's why when Tinubu made a simple statement to say that they will unify the rates of the Naira exchange to the dollar, what happened is that Dangote lost 5 billion in one day. That's how powerful a president is. So if you're in politics, if you're a politician, you are the top. Your policies, your rules, your implementation of laws can affect every rich person. Then you come to the banks. Now, banks are there, both CBN and all the other smaller banks are there to, of course, control the economy, right? Banks can decide your interest rate, for example. Banks can decide whether to give you money to do a business or not. Banks have a very high level of employment, and banks keep your money. If a bank folds, and we have that cases before, your money is gone. There's no entity to give you the money back. So we need to understand. And this is why some people need to understand when Peter Obi is talking, people like Tinubu and Atiku do not belong to the same class. I'm talking about not now, back in the day. Peter Obi was in the board of about 3 banks, owning about 10% or more of the shares of about 3 banks in Nigeria. Tinubu was an accountant in an oil company. Atiku was a civil servant, of course, a top boss in custom, by the way. But you cannot compare or equate that to somebody who is at the top of the food chain, who is, by virtue of his ownership in shares, became a board director of those 3 banks. So if you want to make comparison, you will see that Peter Obi is highly placed. Now in the UK, he had access to a master black card. Now that is one of the highest you can get from MasterCard. So when you talk about people who are at the very, very top, you can count Peter Obi there. And that is where Tony Elumelu belong. Financial institutions. Now, the people that make the easiest money, the craziest money are financial people. Financial people. And that's why you hear about Wall Street, you hear about Canary Wharf. You don't just walk in there. Fintech is the new thing now. But then finance has always been there. Banks has always been there. Banks will always be there. So we need to understand this concept first of all. Now, the first question that I want to ask you is, who own the banks in Nigeria? First Bank? Union Bank? I mean, I'm talking about the old banks, Intercontinental. I'm not talking about this new. Who own the banks? So you need to find that out. There's so many foreign investors in Nigeria. Now, for somebody to come out and feel like he's important, oh, I'm rich because I have a house here, I have a house there. Think about that the whole Lagos, all the buildings in Lagos are owned by individuals or people. Now, who own all these houses? And don't forget, whoever is the governor of Lagos temporarily sits above all of those property. A governor have to sign C of O for you to own a plot of land. A governor can decide to give you any property. So at a particular point in time, at the top of the pyramid is the governor of a state. Then of course, overriding that is the president. So you need to understand this pyramid. Now at the very bottom, you have the likes of businessmen, whatever money you think you are making through business. Thank you. Union Bank was owned by Barclays, and I think First Bank was also owned by a UK bank. And same goes with all your networks. If you think about MTN or whatever, once you travel and land in the UK, it flips. It flips to the equivalent of the UK network. Now you need to understand how these things work. And I'm just giving you things you can easily relate to. Now, if you go into mining, they've been mining in Nigeria from the time of coal, from the time of granite. You think about mining, then that's when you start understanding who really is at the top of the pyramid. I'm talking about Nigeria now. So, going back to the point, local money, abroad money. I hear that the trending news now is that people abroad are poor. I mean, that the Freeze will come out, insult his followers. And I really don't understand people these days, because Nigerians have this attitude that they accept mediocrity and they worship people that insult them. Politicians will steal their money, better their own lives and their family's life, buy expensive cars. I mean, Tinubu's convoy was more than 200 cars. With whose money? Lagos money and Nigerians money, Abuja money that is into now. The same people that they are using their wealth and using their words to shine on them or actually show off to them, we still praise these same people that are stealing from them. That's how senseless and stupid a lot of Nigerians are. So you have that the Freeze who come and insult his followers, boast about his rollers, boast about his cars, boast about his whatever. And then the same followers will give him money. And then stupidly as well, he will be also thanking them for sending $2, $10, $20. But then you are showing off that you have money. And you are boasting that you are a top G. So I really don't get it. But then the point I'm trying to make is, he's in Nigeria, he's doing well for himself. But that Mercedes that he says like he's boasting about that he has, somebody else used a Maybach, which is a higher car than he has, to bring jollof rice. Like, it's like, you are boasting you have this, which is a bottled water. Somebody brings a glass water and uses it to wash face in front of you. So it's like, you have a Mercedes, right, that you are boasting about you don't eat in. And somebody uses a Maybach to deliver food to you, and you still don't get the point. I don't know if you've seen Dino Milaye's closet and see how many watches he's won. So, at the end of the day, my point is, I posted a video of a Dubai guy, right, who came into a car shop and he asked for the most expensive car. And they showed him a 2.2 million dirham car. And he said that is for his driver. And if you want to see that these guys really have money, come to London. I drive Uber now, right? And the good thing with driving Uber is that you carry all sorts of people, especially in London, a city like London, which is very cosmopolitan. You carry the rich, you carry the poor, you carry the average class, and you converse with these people. And by talking to people, you can easily see where they are placed. You talk to tourists, you talk to normal people, you talk to people who are going to work, you talk to people who are going rushing to go and pick their children. You will see different classes of people. And the very rich ones, I'm talking about the Arabs, they fly in their cars to UK for holidays because it's too hot in Dubai now. They come here, they enjoy summer, they fly their cars with them. It's like the way you carry your cargo and you have 32 kids. These guys fly their whole car and travel on holiday. Drive it. So that's why if you're in London, if you're in Knightsbridge and all those areas, you will see their cars with their plate number. Some of them are in Arabic. That's because it's imported cars. They stay in the classiest hotels. So the amount of wealth in London as a place, as a city, is just too much. But do you know another thing that is very common in London? Cameras. Almost every car from 2020 and thereabout have cameras, 360 cameras all around it. Every shop almost have cameras. There are street cameras, there's police cameras, there's speed cameras. There is camera. Immediately you will land in Heathrow or any airport in London, cameras will cover you till the minute you leave. Even buses, red buses have cameras. Everywhere there is camera. Your image, your picture, your face is in millions of databases everywhere. As far as you're in London. And that is a city that is too super rich. I'm coming to London in a minute. But let's go back to Nigeria. Every single person, and I mean every single person, or most, let me not, it's not good to generalize. Let's say 90 or 95% of extremely wealthy people in Nigeria have done something abroad or lived abroad. Go and check out your governors. Most of their families are living abroad. Local money is deep, very deep. The fact that taxes are not paid as much as the more money you declare, the more tax you pay. You need to go to Dubai. I was humbled. Yeah. You're very right. Remember I said Forbes list. In Nigeria, we are regarded as the poverty capital of the world. I will come back to that point. Also, we have billionaires. We have the Dangote, the Adegunga. Well, they are not the only Dangote. They are not the only billionaires. They reckon we have only 3. I mean in dollars, but they're not. You see, in Forbes list, yeah, people like Gaddafi should be in Forbes list, but they won't put him there. People like Mugabe should be in Forbes list, but they won't put him there. Abacha's money, they won't put him there. So it's more like people who declare, of course, legitimate wealth. People like Pablo Escobar, of course, has more money than these guys, but then they won't put him in Forbes list. So I just want you to understand the nuance in that. So when they say that we have only 3 billionaires, there are so many Igbo billionaires that are on the low, that are not ready to come and declare how many houses they have or declare their assets for you just because you want to put them on a list. So some people don't really care about your list. The money is there, cool being. When Davido said that Aliko, in his interview in America, that Aliko Dangote drives a 2020 car, just a small car, right? That he changes car every two years or something like that. That should speak volume of what cars are to a rich person, a real rich person. So that you are showing off because you bought a Lamborghini or a Bentley shows how shallow you are. It's not how people equate wealth. And I will tell you, there are so many stupid things that Nigerians do, which they don't realize that they do. You see, somebody like Portable, I want to use Portable. Somebody like Portable, if the guy was in America and is an American, he will never sell out a room parlor. He won't sell out a sitting room with what he's singing. It's because in Nigeria we celebrate stupidity and craziness. That's why these people go far. And we misinterpret it with talent. The reason why Speed Darlington have been in America, but he hasn't sold out a lot of shows, is because Americans can't go to watch that stupidity. Do you understand? So also understand that Portable is a singer, Wizkid is a singer, Wizkid is popular, Portable is popular. Speed Darlington is a rapper, MI is a rapper, Speed Darlington is popular, MI is popular. It depends on your cloud. It depends on who are your followers, exactly. So you need to understand that because in Nigeria we sort of have a different way of looking at life. Okay, because Portable is successful, he has money, then we accept it. No, that's not how this system works. In Nigeria, nobody cares how you make money as far as you're spending it. You could be a Yahoo boy, you could be a drug dealer. It doesn't happen like that here. If the taxman does not know your name, you got no respect. You can't even buy a property. And that's why a lot of drug dealers and Yahoo boys, they buy property on the name of their girlfriends or their wives. And if those people are not loyal, they can abscond with money and you can't do anything because you can't go to police. You have to declare how you made the money. So because they now want to be in the system, they have to clean up the money. So they bring like front businesses, restaurants, clubs, food outlets, anything. Or go to legitimate business and pump in money and clean it up that way. Now from the clean money, they can of course do other stuff, right? Now you can easily buy a car, right? But anything that needs credit rating or security checks, you can't do. Because the taxman does not know your name. Yeah, car wash and all these small businesses. So we need to understand the differences with this. Whereas a hardworking guy in the UK probably will not have any money in his savings after paying all his bills. But the taxman knows him. His credit facility is up, which is why people like P2B, who was in legitimate business, was able to get access to Black Card. So we need to understand it. So wealth is not about how much cash you have, which a drug dealer might have, but he doesn't have his name on Ministry of Lands. He doesn't have a property because he cannot declare how he made his money. There is no progression. Now, in this place, even if you own a business, you cannot just come and declare or under-declare or over-declare. It has to be sensible because everything you are doing has to go through an account. Even if you are keeping cash, there's a limit to so much cash you can impute in the system or you can declare. Otherwise, they will come and check and verify who is giving you this money, where is the source of this money, who paid for this, can this person afford this. They have to check. You can't use dummy people to run these things. You can until the taxman wants to, and once HMRC is after you, may ask anybody in the UK, you're not getting away with it. It could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, you will pay for it. So that said, you need to understand that there is a system here which sort of not just limits you from being rich or extravagant, but also gives you a purposeful life. Do you understand? So the more money you make, you of course pay more taxes. But at the same time, you can balance things out. You have to get an accountant. You have to have a lawyer. You have to have a spiritual head, or maybe if you don't want to have a pastor or whatever, you can have a faith. Or if you decide to be an atheist, whatever you want to do, you do. But that's how to know successful people. When you now have a lawyer, you have an accountant or speeder, these are people that will help you as you progress. That's when you know you actually are arriving. But at the same time, in Nigeria, you can just have illicit money. Nobody cares. You can buy anything. You can live any life you want to live and do anything and get away with it. And that's not a good system. But that said, local money versus abroad money, there is never a time you can equate the two. But I'm going to explain it in a better way. If you want to break away from poverty, say poverty line, yeah, your family is poor, you're struggling, you're not millionaires, or even if you're millionaires, you're not tens of millionaires or hundreds of millionaires, you can as well go abroad and suffer and be able to make good money. If you have £1,000 now, you have 1 million plus, because the rate now is 1,020 naira to one single coin, a pound. Is 1,000, our highest currency. So the smallest coin, the smallest denomination here, before you get to 50p, £1 is equivalent of our highest denomination in Nigeria. So even if you are a cleaner or a porter here in the UK, you're gonna be making £1 million a month, right? So if you want to break away from poverty, yes, you will need to travel abroad. Now, when you are abroad, you have survived poverty. Is it easy or possible to be extremely rich? abroad. That is where I might differ. Because of the bills, the system will constrain you, and most things you have to do by yourself. This is not a place to come and have somebody washing your car. If you want to wash your car, you take it to the car wash. It costs me about £35, sometimes even more, to wash my car in and out. So most times I wash my car myself, or I clean it myself. Thankfully, it's not like Nigeria when you drive, dust will cover your car immediately, right? Here in the UK, we don't even have gate man, right? So you don't need gate man. You can just put a camera in front of your door and you're good. Police is always at alert, so that one is out. You can have a cook if you want. Yeah, there are people who can cook. So what they do is that they go to African restaurant, they cook for them and pack it in a bowl and give it to them once in 2 weeks or so. I have a woman that does my mind for me from church. Once she go give me, I go give her small, you know. Do you understand? You can do that. You can have that system. If you don't want to have that system, you cook your food alone. You cook yourself. If you don't want to wash car in car wash, you wash it yourself. I cut my hair myself. Not because I can't afford a barber, but because whenever I cut my hair with normal barber, when I go to barbers, I have irritation. If they call it folliculitis or whatever, folliculitis. I can't remember the name. So I have to use my own clipper to cut it. So at least, you know, whenever I cut it, I apply something and, you know, it doesn't come out. So I stay away from barber's shop, right? But then if you want to go to a barber and have a decent cut in my area, you're talking about £30. Some places in London can still do 10, 15, £20. So if you convert that to Nigeria, you're talking about from 10,000 to 20,000 just to cut hair, or even up to 30,000 just to cut hair. So when you look at the system, you will see that the standard of life you are living abroad and that of Nigeria is not the same. Where you can easily get cheap labor, somebody can wash your car, be your security man, be your megad, also clean your house and everything. To clean your house in the UK, there are people that can come and clean your house. Maybe once, 2 weeks, they come and do deep clean, and other weeks you can just be doing small hoovering here and there. You don't have to pay them by hour. Every payment here is by hour. Unless that person doesn't have paper, you can probably get services like, you know, cheap. Other than that, you have to pay everybody by hour. If you want to plait hair, ask the women. To plait hair here, it's about 60 odd quid, cheapest. And then you have to buy the attachment. If you buy the attachment from Nigeria, it's going to work out cheaper for you. Okay? So when you look at all these things, you will see that for somebody to be abroad alone, your expenses, your overhead, nobody in Nigeria should even talk down on you, whether they are celebrities or not. Your overhead, if you start doing the conversion, especially when you are living in UK, or you are living in America, or you are living in any of these European countries, you are spending overhead. Even if you are living in Dubai, you are sharing a room with 7 people, there are still some things you cannot get away from because you're in abroad. Nigeria, you might as well walk from here to wherever you want to walk from. If you're walking to work, some people walk to work. Abroad, there are buses, there are trains, fixed price for everybody, rich and poor. You have to get on these trains and you have to pay for it. In some places like London, it's even cheaper. You have the Oyster, you can top up and, you know, travel for a whole day, blah, blah, blah. Outside London, like where I live, like one trip on a bus can cost you £5.30. One trip on a bus. So if you go 2 times, you know how much you spent. So it's not like you're jumping from Oju Areba to Oshodi and you're paying like 100 naira or 500 naira or whatever. So it's not for anybody to insult anybody abroad, because your overhead cost is extreme. And that is why, okay, just house in the UK, especially in the downside, in south and south of England, you're talking about, if you want to buy a house in London, you're talking about 600 mil, 500 mil, 3 bed. Unless you're talking about flats, you're going 300 to 400. £400,000 pounds. Calculate it in naira. It is easier for you to hustle and build a house in Nigeria than to buy a house here, because it takes a lifetime for somebody to pay for one house here. It takes a lifetime for you. In fact, it takes two people's lifetime to be able to pay mortgage until they finish paying mortgage of a house. So when you hear people say they bought a house, what they bought is mortgage. So they're able to take 15. Now, coming back to the top of the pyramid, though, you are taking 15% to go to the banks to say, please buy this house for me. Banks will give you the house. So you're paying all your life. So you're enslaved to that system. In Nigeria, you can build a house and own it for life. Well, they have the 99 years rule as well, but because Nigeria is so underdeveloped, they even need houses. So there's so many lands the government can take if they need to, that if they see a building, they don't have to recover it or take it, unless they want to build road or whatever. If you have CO4, they have to compensate you. If you don't have CO2, you're on your own, unless the government really want to pity you. And we see governments destroy structures. They're doing that in Anambra, they're doing that in Lagos, they're doing that in so many places, including Zamfara. They even destroy things that other governments have built, and that's how stupid we are. But that's another different topic for another day. So why am I saying this? People that you hear the names today, how did they make their money? A lot of them have lived abroad. The Obi Kubanas, the E-monies, probably from politicians as well. Even Peter Obi lived in UK. Tinubu lived in America. Atiku lived in Dubai till today. So it's hard for you to make your money in Nigeria without having to do anything abroad. Even that the freeze that is talking makes his money from pounds and dollars that he gets paid from Meta. So at the end of the day, we have to understand that it's not about if you're abroad, you are poor. If you're not living in a nice bridge, can you drive a Porsche? How many of you are there? That's not the question. That's not the question. There are people that I know that drive Porsche, that drive all those things. The point is, in London, you can only do 20 miles. Unless you're in the motorway, you can only do 70. Some places, they reduce it to 50. You're not going to enjoy those cars. If you're in Germany, yes, you might enjoy it. They have no limit, highways, motorways that you can speed and enjoy the cars. But not in England. There's too many laws here. In America, maybe you can enjoy it. Okay? So, we need to understand that as rich as you can be also in Nigeria, there's something called collective wealth. Yeah? And also collective poverty. Whether you like it or not, Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world, which is Nigeria is one of the most, in fact, Nigeria is the poorest country in the world, put it that way. Although Dangote is from there, Nigeria is also affecting Dangote, whether he likes it or not. Because any business he has to do it on the exchange rate that every other person is doing business with exchange rate. At best, government will give him even a better price. But still, he's using that same Nigeria system. And that is what I want us to focus on today. Once you come abroad, it's like your destiny opens up. Like, if you are struggling in Nigeria, I don't know what you are doing. Once you leave Nigeria and you land abroad, it's like your destiny just come to light. You just become human being. You just, excuse me, you just become somebody. The reason is, let me use UK. Let me use UK. Even if you come to UK as a visiting, you will immediately land, because you're in a system that is so rich. Like the amount of wealth in the system, in the UK system. Okay, let me put it this way. UK is suffering inflation just like Nigeria. But do you know what they are doing? They are not trying to make the poor feel the heat like Nigeria or like Tinubu is doing, increasing fuel price. Here, fuel price is the same. The only time fuel price increase was at the beginning of this Ukraine war. It's affected, and COVID as well. But now, even though the inflation is there increasing, nobody is feeling it at the price of the commodities. You're still paying the same thing for everything, for food and everything. That's because the government is sensible. But what they do is that they direct that inflation to mortgages, because you have to be above average to not be renting, to actually live in your own property. So they are now targeting those who are homeowners and increasing their mortgage rates. Are you getting it now? So the rich are the ones feeling the impact of the inflation and not the poor. I carried one woman who said she works as a minor middleman. People that, logistics actually, but they're on the ship carrying all these coals for big firms and everything. And I asked her, the kind of caliber of people she works for. She works for very highly placed people. Because for you to own a ship, or you are doing transatlantic, logistic moving of raw materials, you are supposed to be a top gun. You are the top of the pyramid, at least of your country. Are you understanding? So these are the kind of people, and they are very quiet. You see, wealth is not hidden. You can't hide wealth, but at the same time, people who are wealthy are not loud. They are very quiet. They don't come out and show off their watch or show off their cars and talk about what I have and what I don't have. No. Those are nonsense. Those are frivolities. The real wealth is how many people you're impacting. If you close Dangote's group today, how many people will be out of job? If you close UBA, Tony Olumelu's today, how many people will be out of job? That's how much power you have if you're at the top of the pyramid. Not because you have this and have that. Our thinking as black people needs to change. We need to start looking at things like, even if you own 5 houses, how many houses are in Lagos? How many houses are in Nigeria? How many houses are in the UK? You only own 5 of them out of all the houses. So keep quiet. In the grand scheme of things, you're irrelevant. When you want to talk about wealth, you're talking about people like King Charles. You're talking about people like President Biden. So much power. So much money. They don't think about money. When people like Bob Marley said, some people are so poor, all they have is money. It takes somebody to be as smart as Bob Marley to understand what he's saying. To understand that before there was trade by barter, monetary system was introduced. People don't even understand the technology behind money. People don't even understand, why is Naira this and pounds always higher than dollar and also higher than you. People don't even understand it. So you don't base off, and that's why it is wrong for you to do anything because of money. Do things because you're passionate about it, and don't even see. When I met my wife, even today, my wife keeps saying that she doesn't want to be rich, and I see their sense in her. Because if you want to be rich, you will find out that you will be doing things at all costs, and at the same time you'll be throwing your life away. You have to look at life at whatever age you are now. You're looking at 65. Between now and 65, how much can I enjoy this life before life starts telling on me? You start having so many sickness, so many pain, going to hospital before you know it, you're off. I appreciate those who have generational wealth. Their fathers have laid down their lives for them. If you're enjoying, I met one boy, his father is rich. He was telling me how his father has lived his life. He himself is enjoying. If you want to do that, do that. For me, I'm enjoying my life. Of course, I have to leave some things for my parents, because for my kids, for my parents, left some for me. But at the same time, I don't see life as where I'm supposed to make money. That is more deeper to life. That can give you fulfillment, happiness, than money. Money is nothing. So in that context, you don't judge local money and abroad money as the same. That person who is making local money, how comfortable is his life? No matter how rich you are. You buy a Lamborghini, which road are you going to drive it? You can only drive it in mainland. Somebody that buy a Lamborghini in UK can drive it almost everywhere. It's not the same. It's not the same. Even if you're living in an estate that gives you uninterrupted power, and somebody is living in an estate that is taking power and has to use gen, it's not the same compared to abroad, where you don't have to worry about nothing. I've lived here how many years now? Not even one day have I had what you call light out. No. So my standard of living, although I might be a poor man abroad, I'm living equivalent of the highest person in Nigeria without even having anything. And at the end of the day, nobody's going to come out of life alive. Yeah? So it doesn't matter how much you have in your bank. It's the quality of life you're enjoying. What advantage do you have about somebody who is abroad? As far as you're in this system, the system protects you. So immediately you land, you don't have to worry about so many things. Almost all your problems are half solved. You become purposeful. You become, if you go to work, you get paid, you can do this, you can structure your life. And that's why immediately you go give yourself 15 years, you have somebody in life. So how do you then compare that you have money in Nigeria? Okay, even if you have money and you put it in the bank, because of exchange rate, you are getting poorer every day. So the system is fighting you. So this is why we have to look at, very importantly, collective wealth. Is it better? Let me use a fruit. Let me use oranges. Is it better to have 3 good oranges in the midst of 20 bad oranges in one basket? Or is it better to have unripe oranges, but at least all of them are good? Yeah? In one basket. But then you have the other one, 3 ripes, and other ones are already spoiled in the other basket. So you don't have to have 3 billionaires and then so many poor people in a system. You rather have averagely rich people, collectively wealthy. They can access good life. They have security. I drive every day till 3 p.m., 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. People are still balling in London. People are still enjoying life. Enjoying quality life. Young girls, young boys having fun. Can you equate the happiness, the standard of living of that girl in London or in UK to somebody in Nigeria where 6 o'clock because of sit at home is already at home indoors? And there's no light, depression, no TV to watch, no nothing. So you need to understand the disparity of these two places. For you to ever compare, well, I have money, I am better than you that is living abroad. You guys are not on the same pedestal from beginning. Ab initio. Somebody have access to gym. How many gyms do we have in Nigeria? People that have access to parks. How many parks do we have in Nigeria? People who just have fresh air. Do you know what dust and all these things we inhale in Nigeria? Do you know the fumes from generators, from motorcycles? Do you know that here you can't have black soot from your car? If police see you like you exhaust. In fact, in London and in most main cities, Oxford, Manchester, all these places, the main city, you can't have emissions, CO2 emissions. If your every vehicle is registered and your emission is being registered, you can't drive. It's called ULEZ. In London, you can't drive. And that's why I even have an electric car now. Everybody is going electric. All the car manufacturers they are bringing the infrastructure in London. And I carried somebody from Australia saying that even Australia is 5 years behind London. So if you're in UK, if you're in London, you are 5 years above. In fact, let me tell you something. Your life expectancy is what you're supposed to be checking. The quality of life is not just we are taking pictures, our skin is fresh because of the weather. No, there's so many advantages of being in this system. A system that is excessively rich compared to Nigeria, where you have pockets of rich people and extremely poor people. Now, the few people that you think that have money, that you are looking at and you are bragging, you are your G's, make their money elsewhere. They make their money from abroad. See, you have to connect to where the source is, where the money is. Who do you think own all the aircrafts in Nigeria? Who own all the ships that are coming to Nigeria? Is any of them built in Nigeria? Do you know the real investors in Nigeria? Who are drilling all the oil in Nigeria? Who are building your roads? Don't you see RCC? Don't you see all the Oyibo? What do you think? What can you boast for that is Nigerian? Apart from Innocent, even in Innocent there, Oyibo, they work for him. So, can we understand that before you make money in Nigeria, you have to be in affiliation with the same abroad? Can you understand that most people that own houses in Lekki are people who are even living abroad? Most landlords are abroad. Most of your governors, their families are abroad. Most of these people that you are calling the who is who, the cream that are cream in the society, are all abroad, including your first lady. She's in Dubai. Your former first lady anyway. How many years did Tinubu live abroad? How many of his children are actually in Nigeria? How many of Buhari's children were in Nigeria? How many of them were abroad? So we have to understand this and contextualize it. So you don't just come out and say people who are abroad are poor. We're not in the same pedestal with them. That's why when they come to Nigeria, when I come to Nigeria now, and you take light and there's darkness, I'll begin to panic. I'll go into panic mode. I have to go and stay in a hotel, at least have lights, have AC. Do you understand? Because it has become like something I'm not used to. But when I didn't travel, when I was in Nigeria now, I didn't know there are other places that have steady power. It was my normal life. But once you taste that good life, you become you become enslaved to it. And that's why some people, when they live here for long, they think they are part of here. And that's why it's good to travel home and actually see where you're from, see the thick bushes, see the dust, see the underdevelopment, see the poverty. So you can remind yourself that although you are in this wonderful system, you're also a foreigner. And again, there are business opportunities in Nigeria, don't get me wrong. A lot of our musicians are returnees, the Bankies. Davido also was born in America. I mean, apart from Wizkid and Olamide, almost of other ones are returnees. They came back from, even Tiwa lived in America. Don Jazzy lived in the UK. Name them. Most of these guys are returnees. So most of your cream that are cream, most of them have lived abroad or have foreign investors or are in politics. Do you understand? So you cannot just come and rubbish those abroad. You dare not. There are people who are making money who you don't know they are making money because they're not going to come and tell you they are making money. Because you feel comfortable showing your car, showing your watch, does not mean other people are going to do the same. It's until you go to a property and say, I want to buy this property, that you know the real owner. Or you have a court case with somebody and then you see the real owner come. Then you will know that most lands are being bought by people who are abroad. So you will know that when it comes to wealth, there are so many people who are abroad who has money. Because when you think about it, before you make your 1 million in Nigeria, do you make 1 million in a month? How many people comfortably make 1 million in a month in Nigeria? How many people comfortably make? Now I'm telling you that the least people, any Nigerian in the UK can easily make 1 million, which is £1,000 a month. So how do you equate it? How do you equate it? So we need to understand local money and abroad money. And that is now coming to escaping poverty. Now, when you now become comfortable, you probably bought a house, you bought a car, you've built a house in Nigeria, blah, 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 you're middle class, whatever, right? You are good. Now, if you want to go to the next level of becoming rich, that's where the change comes in. It's difficult to make that kind of wealth without illicit money, without evading tax, with all these bills abroad. It is easier to make it in Nigeria. But saying that, for every business that flourishes, there is probably 90 that fails or 80 that fails. So for every business that works, or for every 20% that works, there is 80% business failures. So there are people who go to Nigeria to go and venture into business. It doesn't work, and they return their money, and they return here and they survive here and stay here. So I'm not going back. There are some people who invest in business and it works. But then for you to become successfully rich, of course you have to be there in person. If you do anything by proxy, man, they will chop your money clean. Nigerians are lie, and there's so much poverty in the land. And nobody will take your thing as his own. So unless you are willing to go to Nigeria and then do the suffer with them and make it even, of course. But Nigeria can also give you so much wealth and also can cripple you. That's why you can see somebody so rich, and at the same time they will tell you this person has been, lost all his money. That person will become poor. Now, coming to this, how does money work? Government, of course, like I said, they are the top of the pyramid with the banking financial institutions. Now, I'll tell you how financial institutions are the highest. They have the money. And how did they get this money from? Let's start from how they get the money. All of you in Nigeria put your money in the bank. Or let me not say all. Let's say 95% put their money in the bank. Now you put your savings in the bank. They pay your salary in the bank. Whatever. Now that money you've left in the bank is what the bank. So bank is actually not printing. They're not. What they are doing is taking the money back to CBN. CBN is printing new ones and destroying the old ones. So it's the same money in the cycle, or supposed to be anyway. But of course, Nigeria sometimes they print money just to help the economy, but at the same time, anyway, that's another case for another time. They are rubbishing Nigeria anytime they do printing, which is what this guy that is held back now, Emefiele, did so much. Now, your banks will now come and talk to a businessman who wants to take risk. Businessman will come and say, I have a business proposal. I want to go to China. There is this new product I want to import. Bank will come out and say, give me collateral. So the man go and take what he has already, that he has paid for, worked hard for all his life, and give it to the bank. The bank says, okay, I give you this money, or I take this money. Now, as far as you have this money, I'm going to have this for my security. Now, as you have this money, should anything happen to this money, I will take this. If you succeed, I will give you this and collect my money plus interest. Now, he's not just doing it to one businessman, he's doing it to millions of businessmen. So who is the top G? Is the bank man, who sits comfortably, make sure there's enough money for all the withdrawals in a day, right? And then give you back your savings whenever you want it with smaller interest margin. But he charges more to those who will give his money to, who he will give your money to, because it's not his money. He's giving the money that he has gotten from you. He's giving it back to the businessman. So Dangote comes and say, I want to build an oil refinery. I need 10 billion. He goes into his pockets. All the CBN, sorry, all the UBA banks in Nigeria, how much are they worth? Do we have 100 billion? They say, yes, they have 100 billion. I say, give me 100 billion. They give it to Dangote. Dangote start building his refinery, close to finish after 3 years. He has made the money back. He's paid back. Bank collect their profits, put the money back in the this thing of the this thing, and also charge you for SMS, charge you for transaction, charge you for deposit, charge you for paying for using your card to pay for electric or gas or what do you call it, airtime. All these charges, calculate how many in a day, then multiply it by 200 million. The bank still take it. You see, they are the real G's. They are the rich people. And most banks are not owned by Nigerians, go. Because the infrastructure you will use, the IT system you will use, are not Nigerian. The bonds are not even in... See, governments, especially this is why London, yeah, and America, and I think a few other countries, I think Switzerland, have the highest deposit of countries in terms of bonds and all this gold and everything. They store it in London because London can provide maximum security. You are probably, dead sure that nobody's going to access your money. Now, some African countries, what they do, or some countries of the world, what they do is that they keep some money internally and they keep some money elsewhere. When if you watched Money Heist or Money Heist, whichever way you want to pronounce it, what Money Heist was trying to show was how criminals were able to invade the national, where the real money is. Their governments keep their real money. Both the place like CBN where they print money and where they store the gold. Now, for you to be able to go and steal gold from all those federal reserves and government reserve, you must be, I don't know, not just professional, high special agent, whatever. You must have the highest IT this thing in your team. I watch all those kind of movies all the time. And when I watch movies, I don't just watch American movies. I watch other country movies just to get the knowledge of, Scandinavian country. I can watch Chinese. I can watch any country. I can even watch any Asian country because I'm trying to learn their different things. So at the end of the day, coming back to what we are saying, the military is also there because the military are the people who can control the people. You know what I mean? So when you talk about top G's, the military are always there in most countries, especially the oil producing countries. But the military do not work alone. Again, going back to the people that train the military. Who trains the military? Who gives them the weapons? That is it. And that is the government for you. So when you understand these things, you understand that you and I are merely at the bottom of the pyramid. So you bragging to me that you have 2 cars more than me, you are shaming yourself. Because that same tax you are paying is what I'm paying. The same fuel you are buying is what I'm buying. Some people own the oil well. Some people own the filling station. Some people own the car product itself that you are buying. The less you want to buy, a person get the manufacturer, and a person get the business itself. So can we all be calming down, small, all of us? The purpose of this life is to tell you to be calming down. At the end of the day, if you're not military trained, if you're not in politics, if you're not in finance, keep quiet. Just shut up, keep quiet. When I talk about military, I'm not talking about ordinary regiment though. I'm talking about the Oga, the highest Oga. They are the ones that place order, power. You tell people, shoot this guy on side, they'll kill you straight, collect your money, that's it, you're a waste. No, if you're not that level, just keep quiet. You can watch that video that I posted of that Dubai guy coming. I want this one, I want this one, I want. Have you eaten toffee too? In one day, in less than 20 minutes, how much has he spent? So it's not about money. It's not about money. There are people, if they want to throw their weight around with the kind of money they have, the whole world will cry. I've told you, if you're not in Forbes list, I'm going to check Forbes list. Probably first 100 are controlling 8 billion of us. 8 billion of us. Barclays, the bank called Barclays in UK, go and check. They own a whole islet or whatever they call it. It's like a small island. They own the whole islet. Just like what Ronaldo did. I think Ronaldo just built a house in one of the islets. This one, Barclays Bank own a whole. You know what it means to own a whole island? It's like you buy a whole boat land and everything. So money is not everything. When Solomon told you vanity upon vanity, don't ever make your life about money. Whether you are abroad or you are in Nigeria. The most important thing, work hard. Feed your family. The Bible says that he who cannot feed his family is worse than an infidel. And keep your mouth shut. God hates proud people. He abases the proud and lifted the humble. Be humble in life. Be humble in life. I learned it long time ago. Then people come and brag and say, I have money. Just quietly be enjoying your life. Enjoy your life. You have very short time. How many years? I'm in my 30s, 60s. It's just, I just have only 30 years to live. And there is bare enjoyment in this world. Take yourself on holiday. Sometimes when I'm driving, I pick people who come back from airport, who come back from holiday. They will tell you, oh, I've just been to this place. I'm even confused. I don't know where to go to my next holiday. I don't know where my next holiday destination is. Because people tell you Turkey is nice, Greece is nice, Dubai is nice, America, everywhere is nice. You don't even know where to go. In fact, you check your pocket yourself, you don't have money, but you want to go all these places. But the most important thing is that at least you can afford to go if you want to go, even if you have to save a whole year and go next year. But don't make life about money. Don't even respect people about money. Those people you are respecting, you are bowing down for nonsense. What do they have? I told you I met a woman who works with very powerful. If you see her, very smallish girl, just quiet in my Uber. I was like, eh? By the time I got to where I dropped her, look around the houses. You know what it is to have a house in London where you have gates, you got a proper gate with fence. You look at you know there is mansion and there is all these houses where people say I bought a house. There is proper mansions. So please, let's keep quiet. There are people abroad who are making it. Those in Nigeria who have made it also have links abroad. There are people who have made it in Nigeria, yes, who are in Nigeria and bought houses here. Of course, many of them. What are you saying? There are people that even if you give them free visa to come and live in London, they won't leave. Yes. But it's the quality of life you can live. It's the people around you. Smellos. I met somebody. I picked this guy up. This guy is from, I think, Norway. He came with his family. He wanted to come and show his wife to his other family because he was born in Norway but to an English family. Same like you have Nigerians here born in Britain but to a Nigerian family. So he's like an English guy in Norway. And I asked this guy, I said, Norway, how many million? I can't remember how many million he said. I was like, what? As powerful as Norway is, I don't even know how many, whether they even reach 1 million. You know what I told him? I said, thank God you guys are not Nigerians. If you guys were Nigerians, they would have used children to finish the whole country. Under 10 years, if Nigerians go nowhere, they go born the whole Norway with children. Where one man go, they born for, marry for. No be you, your governor, former governor of this thing, Senator Sherima. They talk about justifying how he brought a law to legalize marrying kids, teenagers. The debates now online everywhere is polygamy. I don't have anything against polygamy, but the point of or the import of polygamy is to address divorce and single parenting, not because you want to enjoy women and bring so many children in this world that you cannot account for. You think Oyibo no get sense? Small countries will no get population. They will just they born only man one, they will marry one woman, they born small. Nigeria will be the poverty capital of the world. You go still they born they throw away. Why not have smaller population? Smaller population. Because that's how you grow your GDP. Many of them made their money abroad and then they go to Nigeria to invest big time. Yes. Most people will only return if their investments are flourishing. They make the money somewhere else. Don't ever look down on abroad. And wherever are Lagos and London, don't even equate Lagos to London. Nowhere, no chance. And the thing with Nigeria is that we are losing out on 12 hours every day. There's no night life. People go to night shift here in the UK. And I'm not talking about security my guard or people nearly swear. No. I'm not talking about just people who are going to nightclubs. So many things are still open 24 hours here. Police stations are open 24 hours. Some stores like kebab, all these food. Some McDonald's are 24 hours open. So many businesses are 24 hours open. So many factories, most factories are 24 hours running. You do shift pattern. Afternoon shift, evening shift, morning shift. Nigeria, 6 o'clock, everybody inside. You guys are, the only balance in life is time. Dangote have the same 24 hours with me. Bill Gates, Elon Musk, 24 hours. So if you want to be rich, you have to hate sleep. Sleep very minimal. Look at other things you can do. Do 3 things, 4 streams of job, 5, self even. Until you get to a particular age, you want to relax on your own terms. It's not everything that, see, I've told myself, there's so many things you can do and make money. I choose what I want to do based on what I like, in the quality of life I like. I work from home IT. Uber, I do it as my own terms. Uber, you wake up, bring your phone, pum, you are alive, you start receiving. The minute you are tired, pay me 1 year. If you make £50, it's your problem. If you make 250, it's your problem. You are in control of your time. You are self-employed. You are in your own car. You can choose to park, eat. Nobody is controlling you. That's freedom. I also work on the railway. If you call me for a job, if I don't like the job and the terms, I say I'm not going. I hang up. If you make money at your own terms, you are living a comfortable life. When somebody have to tell you when to sign in and sign out and blah, 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 don't do this, don't do that. Have you done this? Somebody is controlling your life. So you have to work hard, get a degree, get 2 degrees or whatever. Work hard. Yes. But don't do it for money. Money will come as a consequence of living your life. But don't even worship money. You know, when you see somebody has money, say, some people, if you ask them their role model, they would mention people will get money. Not be person will get sense. Not be people will be saying they don't do things where you can see and appreciate. So we need to stop all these things in our society whereby once you are rich, everybody will worship you. No. There are businesses who are making losses. That woman that was into mining, she told me, that was into logistics of mined products. He told me that during COVID, their ship, it takes about $7K dollars, yeah, to pay for the daily cost of the ship. And so many countries could not allow the ship to port, like to dock, because of course of COVID, and people are scared they are Chinese or whatever. So they were on the sea, they were onshore for the longest period of a year. They were getting food from ports, but they cannot dislodge or disembark. So what they were doing, they were flowing. Now to flow or to float, you have to pay $7K to all the crew every day. And they were being paid or getting just of about $1,000. So they are making losses of $6,000 every day during COVID. And check how long COVID lasted. It's not only now that things are becoming back to normal. So there are businesses you do for legacy. It's not every business is profit making. There's so many businesses that are non-profit organizations. But people are doing it because of maybe service to humanity or philanthropy or upholding legacy, or because they believe it will grow in the future. Some businesses suffer loss. In fact, if you want to go into business, you work harder than when you are employed by somebody else. Because when you're employed by somebody else, you're looking at time. You start to work at 6 and you finish at 7. Once it's 7, you won't go. Once it's 7, you log out, they go. If it's your own business, Baba, you go stay there because now your money is your money. So you're not making it for somebody, so you go stay there till 10 p.m. So in business, you find out that you work twice as hard, and sometimes you don't even succeed because you're trying to do everything by yourself, so you go do and where. It's like when they settle one boy, when they settle an apprentice now, you're not going to go carry an apprentice immediately. You go right doing business by himself for at least a few years. That's how it is. So it's not easy. Once you have disposable income, you get to a particular place, you've made investment here and there. But don't forget, no matter how much investment you've made, you can still sell investment. I've seen people have problems, they sell all their properties, trying to solve one problem. And before you know it, they are poor again. If the system is not solid. And that's why you have businesses, they will tell you, you come to Nigeria and invest, and they were in losses. And these things happen on a daily because there is no system. So we have to have a country where all of us are collectively, if it's better for us to be collectively middle class and be strong, like some Eastern European countries. There are countries there now that are not excessively rich, but at least they can manage. There is Hungary, there is all these countries, small countries, you know. But you can have steady power, you will have good road, you will have basic amenities, you know. People are not going to suffer too much. I was telling people, I met a Libyan, I was carrying a Libyan. This girl confirmed to me what I was telling you guys. Libya was paying benefits when Gaddafi was alive to the people. Healthcare was free before they messed them up. Look at Libya now. So this is what we are supposed to be talking about, not a system whereby you bring policies like Tinubu did that makes the poor even poorer and make life excruciating painful. Look at UK. They are only increasing mortgage rates. Before you get a house, that means you are not as poor now. You are not on minimum wage level. So the only people feeling the inflation are people who own houses. People who are on the bottom, they are still getting their benefits. They are still living their life. And that's why you still come into London. People are still enjoying going to party. Because people who go to party are, funny enough, people who are at the bottom of the pyramid. Rich people don't even have time to go to party. They are from one meeting to the other. By the time they hit the house, they are already on the bed sleeping. Tomorrow is another meeting, series of meeting. So you find out that the happiest people are people who are at the bottom of the pyramid. They are the ones enjoying themselves. The students, the people who just want to have fun, who think life is all about fun. But there should be a balance, work-life balance, you know? Have fun sometimes, work hard, play hard. I'm not saying the rich people don't play hard. They do. Once they hit that big check or they get that massive job, you know, or they do that big, close that big deal, of course. They go eat their lobsters. They go chill in, fancy restaurants. They go fine dining. They drink the expensive wines and they chill out. Yeah, they do. But at the same time, you got to understand that it's time to work hard as well. You know, but if you're in a system that in Nigeria you'll be working hard and and that's why it is it's like suffering for nothing. Here, if you suffer, you will see the product of the suffering. And that's why some people tell you I do 3 jobs. It's not for you to now insult people because they say they do 3 jobs. No, they are very more comfortable than you. If somebody say they enter bus for here, you go to say the boss more lower bus so they enter for Lagos. No. Uber here and Uber in Nigeria don't be the same. Nigeria Uber, anybody can drive Uber with any car. Before you do Uber in London, Baba, an electric car, go and check. Electric car, others go to go plug, they buy petrol, you go to go socket, you go to go plug for socket for 1 hour at very minimum to charge your car. So it's not the same. Don't look down on people abroad, especially when people are in England or America. Don't try it. These are extremely rich economies. Extremely rich, powerful economies. That once you're in that system, it absorbs you and shelters you and protects you. If you don't have food, there's food bank. If you don't have house, they'll give you place. If you have a child you can't look after, they will look after the child for you. If you misbehave, they will carry the child itself. You can't compare that to Nigeria where nobody cares about you. Even if you start the country, you die through nobody cares. There is no proper documentation of who is dying, who is living life, what happened anywhere, no reporting, nobody cares. Police is radical, everybody is useless. You can't compare that system to here and telling me you have money. Which money? You are still controlled by a lot of variables that cannot even be brought into the equations of somebody who's abroad. You make your money abroad, escape poverty abroad. Then if you want to be rich, you make investments in Nigeria and hope it works. If it works, because the number one thing that fights business in Nigeria is no power. You start looking for artificial means of creating electricity, buying generator, buying diesel. That one will cripple your capital. And somebody coming from abroad to come and do that investment does not factor it in properly. Then you talk about data. Here we use Moon3, this thing, unlimited internet. You can post. That's why when we're in the same group with people in Nigeria, we could post rubbish because we need to pay for data. Once I land in Nigeria and I buy MTN 1000, it finish within 2 hours. Oh my, they slow down what I they post. I even they off data sometimes, unless I'm in a hotel that have Wi-Fi. So you have to understand the difficulty of these two places of this place is not the same with the comfortability of this place. Because what this system can give you for £20, you will have unlimited call, unlimited internet, unlimited everything. In Nigeria, equivalent will not give you unlimited nothing. You probably still have a small data to use. You don't even know how the data is being metered. Before you know it, bam, they'll tell you it's finished. It's finished. It's finished. Who you go fight? Let me tell you, go fight. The next thing is they're going to send you nonsense. This thing they tell you, say, oh, yeah, buy more if you want to enjoy this bonus. You buy, the bonus no come. Even the bonus when it comes, if the money go down even faster. So please, let's stop throwing our weight around because we think we have money. We're better. You're just better than the people at the, and the same people are still giving you money. That's the nonsense I don't understand. Because if you insult me, I'm not going to give you shishi. If I'm not as rich as you are, I won't give you any money. So that is what we are supposed to build. A collective wealth. Nigeria is collectively poor. No good road. No infrastructure. No power. No nothing. And you want to tell me you have money? In which system? I beg you. Please, I'm going to stop here. Like, comment, share. Your opinions are very, very much appreciated. My YouTube channel is there. You can follow me, subscribe to my channel, and also watch all my old videos. There's so many things to learn. And share this. Send it to your rich people in Nigeria that look down on those abroad. Let them know it's not the same life. Eh? Person where dey Lamborghini, now the same road they drive with person where dey Peugeot. Person where dey Peugeot, small Peugeot. No be the same quality of life when they live. You feel the shop food though. Now spoon and plate they use the shop. Another big man they use spoon and plate, but no be the same food and no be the same content. So say you dey Nigeria, you get money. No mean say you go get mind. They insult person with dey abroad. Una know they do the same thing. Oh. Person will be saying life day clock. He can sleep an extra 30 minutes because he knows his boss is going to arrive at a particular time. You, they woke up 4 o'clock because you are living in Lagos because of traffic. How do you compare those two lives? Already this has an advantage over you because he can sleep till time. Because he knows he's going to get, as far as he doesn't miss his boss, he's going to get to this particular time at work. Nah, you're not the same. You are frustrated by your bank in Nigeria. You are frustrated by your MTN. You are frustrated by everything. Will frustrate you in Nigeria. I'm living a chilled out life. I don't stress out. I don't break any sweat. I don't worry my head. And you tell me we are the same. But it's about the quality of life. Oh, nobody is getting out of this life alive. Whether you have 10 billion in your account, nobody know. And your money where they are bankers, they use and they make more money for themselves. They are the top G, man. So stop throwing your weight around. Be humble. Still know those who have the real money. Look at what Dubai man did. Bought how many cars in 1 second? They threw money. You don't see the case where they bring money. A pallet, they bring money come shop. You save. As you they save, person where they abroad don't go carry car they drive. And they drive 2020. And they drive 2021 they 3 car without paying shishi. Shishi I don't pay. You they save. You know, be the same. Guys, I have to stop here. I hope it makes sense. It's not about the money though. Let's connect, let's network, let's think about how to solve the common poverty issues that affects us. Not to throw ourselves around and have money. You don't have nothing. Nigeria is a poor place, man. Bye, guys.